God, there are so many things happening today, I don't know where to start. Okay. Hey, I'm Simon. It is the 5th of August 2025. Welcome. Today there's been so many announcements. OpenAI have released their first ever open source model in 2 different models, and they are both incredible and really, really good. Google DeepMind have just released Genie 3, which is an immersive 3D world that you can generate by using text, but then you can interact with that world as well, rather than just generating an image. It's absolutely crazy and wild today. The Alibaba group have released Gwen image generator, the 20 billion parameter model, which is just really, really good and creating things locally. Anthropic have released Opus 4.1. All of these I found out within about an hour of each other, which is crazy. The team at GitHub Copilot have just announced in the last hour that I record this, that they've integrated Anthropic's Claude 4.1 into GitHub Copilot. My God, there's just so much. I've just found out as well that OpenAI's Codex CLI will actually support the new open source model if you run it locally as well. Oh my God, the value is just incredible. Since there's just so much to talk about, how about we just take a step back and start from the beginning? Okay, whenever you chat with ChatGPT, that usually sends your data off to a server in the cloud that's run usually by OpenAI, or they'll partner with Microsoft. And you've just got to trust that they're going to look after your data and do something nice with it. They'll usually store it. They'll train the model or not based on whether you pay them and whether you've turned that setting off as well. That's the usual way that things happen. Open source models are different. They are given away for free, and you choose to run them either at a data center, or you can run it locally on your own PC if you've got a beefy enough PC. And so they need a graphics card to run. If you don't have a graphics card in your PC, you likely won't be able to run these models. If you have got a Mac, Apple Silicon are very different. They have an integrated system with their memory, so you can actually run larger models than you would with a normal traditional PC because it shares the memory across the whole system. So I'm going to focus on that today, and I'm just going to show you OpenAI's new model, and it's so incredible. I thought, let's just do a quick demo and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So here I am on a Mac M2. It has 32 gigs of RAM, which gives me 2/3 of that to be used for GPUs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to download Ollama by going to ollama.com. When you hit the download button, have a look for macOS, and you simply click download for macOS. That'll go down to your downloads folder, and if you double click, we can install it. Once you've got that and it's installed, it will look like this. We've got a model picker over here, and we can type our message in over here. I've already selected the GPT open source software 20B model. It'll take about 13 gigabytes of storage space, but it's incredible and totally worth it. We can start off by just saying hi, and this is a thinking model. So it'll think about what does it need to return back to me before it answers. And this is called a reasoning model. And what it allows it to do is when it's talking back to you, have a little internal discussion to say, is this the best answer I can possibly give? The first time you talk to it, it'll take a while like this to load into memory because it's 13 gigabytes large. It needs to load that into RAM. When it comes back, here you go. It's thought for 0.8 seconds, but it'll be a lot faster now. So hello again. Now that the model's loaded, do you see that? It was instantaneous and it's thinking, and this is actually really fast for a thinking model because I've done this for a while now. Now let's give it something a lot more difficult. Jack is looking at Anne. Anne is looking at George. Jack, the first one, is married. George, the last one, is not. We don't know if Anne in the middle is married or not. Is it true that a married person is looking at an unmarried person? This is a really fantastic test. Now it's going to think through this and try and reason what the answer is. And then it's going to come up with its best answer at the end. Thinking models usually take quite a long time, even on my system. But let's have a look at this. It says yes. Why? If Anne is married, Jack is already looking at Anne. So if she's married, then she looks at George, who's unmarried, and that qualifies it. If Anne is unmarried, then Jack, who is married, is looking at Anne, which is what I said. Our married person, Jack, is looking at an unmarried person. The answer is yes. I'll be honest with you, I've done this question many, many times. This is the clearest answer that I've gotten from a reasoning model so far. And this just blows my mind with how clever this is. I want to kind of blow this up a little bit to try and expand your brain as to why this is so important. So when you talk to an AI system, it usually tries to save and record your data because that's useful to the people that have made the AI model. Or if they're not saving that data, then there's some kind of cost in there, usually to yourself or to the person that's providing it. This is neither of those two things. This is something running completely locally on your PC where you have it. which allows you to do many things, including answer awkward questions that you wouldn't be comfortable asking and sending your data off to. You can give it much harder, more difficult reasoning logic questions than you would have been able to before, because this is just such an incredibly intelligent model. But third and most importantly for me, this is something where we can actually utilize it in a programming sense. So traditional programs, we usually just write and they sequentially go through different steps, a deterministic model, if you will. AI models are by their nature non-deterministic. So which is better, an apple or a grapefruit? Now, the answer depends on the context. We can't code out which is better unless we know for sure which one is. So I want to show you another quick example. Now this is really important as I've never set this up before. This is completely fresh with me and you doing this together to see if this works, okay? Here we go. Codex is one of my favorite things that OpenAI have, and they do this in the cloud for Plus users and team users. But there's something called Codex CLI, and here I found it. So it's a lightweight coding agent. I'm going to use NPM because I know I've got that working for Gemini. Again, never done this before. Let's have a little look. While that's installing, I remember seeing just before this video that we can actually use the new open source models, interactive UI or non-interactive. Let's go with interactive, OSS. If you admit the model, Codex defaults to that 20 model that we've downloaded and will verify it exists locally. So let's try that, okay. This is interesting. Codex OSS. Okay. So this is funny. This is so bleeding edge that nothing worked on CLI for Codex. Do you know why? Because they've literally only just released the correct version 6 minutes ago whilst recording this video. So this is so bleeding edge. We are within 6 minutes. This is ridiculous. All right, let's try again and try downloading this. Okay. All right, we are so bleeding edge that these things haven't actually hit the NPM repository nor the brew repository yet. And I don't really want to spend my entire night trying to install stuff from a tar gzip locally. I think we just wait until tomorrow and we'll try this again. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Ready? So good morning. It's the next day and let's take another look. We can now upgrade Codex, and you can see that as of last night, Codex version is now 0.13. So let's have a look and see what we can do with this. What I'm going to do before I even do this is completely disconnect my entire network, okay, and turn off Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is turned off. Unplug this from the back of the machine. Okay, let's ping google.com. And the whole thing is down. Okay, we're completely and utterly offline. In my current directory, we've got nothing. So ls is completely clear. Let's clear the screen. Nothing there, okay? Nice and clean. So let's go Codex full auto, but this time open source software. We recommend running it inside a Git repo. Do you want to proceed? I'm going to say yes. So now we've got what we need, and we're now running in Codex completely locally. I'll find the Flask commands that we did before. I'll say create me a new Flask application in Python, which will display a lunch menu taking up the lunch menu items. I'm going to hit enter and it says working. Now, in order to prove that this is actually doing something locally, I'll move my my screen so you can see what's happening. The GPU is being used by Ollama now. Look at this, 58, 55%. And in the background, it's there working away diligently. So again, this is unbelievable. This is working locally on my Mac M2 with 32 gigs of RAM. That has no internet connection. We don't need to have signed up to anything to do this. We just need to download the model, get it running with Ollama, and download Codex. And that's it. We now have a coding helper which we can use forever for free with no subscription, completely privately. This is absolutely mad. I love it. Let's see where we've got up to. So look at this. It's done a diff, which means it's worked out code it needs to update. And let's skip to the end, shall we? Okay, so it's stopped. Let's have a look to see what it's doing. Have you finished? How do I run this? I've added the code, create a virtual environment. So we're going to run python-m, venv, and then source. And then we're going to run number 2 and number 3. That's hilarious that this just works so seamlessly. I forgot we're actually offline. Let's go back to installing our requirements. This should work now because we're actually online. Amazing. Jeez. Okay, it says I've run a production server. Here it is. Let's go to our browser and look at this. We actually have a lunch menu completely created. Now remember, this is just the most basic thing I asked it to do, but it still came up with a website, a server, all of the items, made up pricing, and this is just the start. So my goodness. So there we have it, an open source model which is as powerful as O4 Mini, one of the best thinking models that we have to do coding out there. Completely for free, downloadable and usable offline to go create any coding project to help you out in a small way, in a big way. If you have a Mac with Apple Silicon and you have 32 gigs of RAM, give this a try because you're one of the few people that can do this. If you've got a PC with NVIDIA GPU card in there, you can probably do this as well. So have a little try and let me know how you get on. I think this is amazing. I would play with this all day, but I've got to do childcare, so I'll see you in a bit. Bye.